Hello, Chinook and Steelhead members. Thank you for being part of the guide's forecast. This is your forecast for Sunday, August 15th. If you had already heard the report, you already know that fishing was challenging today. I don't think it'll be all that much different tomorrow. The tides are softening. That's a good thing, usually, in my opinion. But there'll be a lot of people on the water again. So be prepared for that. It's not a bad idea to consider alternative areas, say the Oregon side, for example. You'll lessen your competition. Everybody loves all the boat wakes that happen when people are running up and down, so you kind of avoid that more on the Oregon side. I'm going to head to the ocean. I'll get to the ocean in just a minute, but you really are under an ideal scenario where high tide happens in the morning, and there should be fish that get pushed up into the estuary. It might not be a bridge bite tomorrow. I think the high tide is only a 6-foot flood, so you're not going to get a strong push of fish high into the estuary. Buzz talked a lot about that during our webinar for Buoy 10. Hopefully some folks have had a chance to check that out. But you know, a mediocre push is going to put them in the middle estuary, probably between the Desdemona Light Marker and Warrenton, for example, or Wing Jetty 1 and the Church. So you may not find really good opportunities very high above the bridge, given the soft flood that, relatively speaking, the soft flood that's expected to top out about 7 in the morning tomorrow. So spinners have been working exceptionally well the last couple of days. Not so much today, but nothing was working great today. But myself and other guides, even more so, had a good deal of success with the Pro Trolls and size 3.5s the last couple of days in the river. So I imagine that's a reflection partially of the warm water temperature that we're experiencing in the estuary, somewhere between 68 and 70 degrees in a lot of places. But on that outgoing tide, and what was continues to be surprising is that we're catching these fish on a relatively fast troll. The one Chinook that we got in the river on the morning trip this morning, we were doing upwards of 5 miles an hour downstream. We caught it over by the Church, right in the peak part of the ebb tide, and we've been seeing a fair number of Chinooks caught during max ebb. So you know, I mean, it's not ever unexpected, but we tend to really try and focus our efforts when the tide is going slower, when you're trolling slower with the tide somewhere between 2.5 and 4 miles an hour. So another thing that's goes kind of against the grain of what we've been teaching in our webinars and also the tech report is that these fish are close to the surface. You know, some of our most productive rods are up in the bow. We're using 16 ounces, granted, but only going out 11 to 13 strips, so we're fishing 18 to 21 feet deep. So those fish are not on the bottom, even in the smoking, screaming, outgoing tides. So, you know, if you're gonna pick a water column based on how many rods you're fishing, choose shallow. Seems to be where the biters are now, and I'm sure it's always been that way. I know it has, but it still surprises me that they're so close to the surface when that's where a lot of the water velocity is happening. I did drop a bait down on the bottom. I had a scenario a couple years ago that produced outstanding results when everybody was shooting over to the Washington side, and we dropped a couple of baits, naked green label herring down to the bottom with the dropper lead, and you know, smoked 7 Chinook in about 45 minutes. So still not a bad strategy. But I'm headed to the ocean tomorrow. So the ocean forecast for tomorrow is again a 4-foot swell at 11 seconds. That's a friendly ocean. There's supposed to be maybe a 10-mile-an-hour wind, I believe, from the north. So it seems like the current is still running from south to north. It was this afternoon, but the winds are starting to come from the north, and so therefore the currents should also probably start coming from the north as well. So try to be cognizant of which direction you're trolling the fastest out in the ocean. Take advantage of that. You need to cover a lot of water and theoretically cross a lot of fish faces before you find the biters out there in the ocean. But again, we were in 80 to 100 foot of water due west of the lighthouse, close to the 17 line, and you know, it was good. It was really good fishing for you know, the time of day we were out there, which was the afternoon. So that bite is going on all day long, but it's always going to be best in the morning. I am anticipating rodeo fishing from the get-go if you get out in the ocean. I don't think you're going to have trouble with bar crossings. If you do limit out quickly and want to get back over the bar during max ebb, we shouldn't see much in the way of restrictions with a 4-foot sea at 11 seconds, but that doesn't mean you don't check the apps, check the buoy, the bar report that's available on our homepage, or call the Coast Guard, Cape Disappointment, if you have any questions about how that bar is performing, or listen on channel 16, and be safe, because you will be coming back across on max ebb there. So I don't know if fish are showing up back to the south again. I know that north's been consistent ever since the south wind started blowing a couple days ago. I'm gonna head to the north. That was just too easy of fishing. It should be real easy tomorrow. So you can do some of both, of course. See how the high tide produces in the river in the morning. Maybe there'll be a good Chinook bite you can take advantage of. If you don't find the river fishing to your satisfaction, hopefully the lower river is calm enough where you can make a quick trip. It takes about 40 minutes to get from the bridge to where the productive fishing is on the north side there of the Columbia, outside in the ocean. So again, a good grade of coho. We had a hold of at least 3 Chinooks on the afternoon run today. One of them was a really nice bright fish, probably in the high teens, that we lost at the boat. A couple Thule jacks, one that we killed, one that we let go, a couple other, 1 or 2 others that we had up to the boat before they got themselves off the hooks. But I'm using spinner baits out there with chunk baits, chunk anchovy, and those are folding up real nice. The spin fish continues to produce good results, and it is amazing how rapidly the fish responded to fresh bait inside the spin fish today. It was not ironic, I should say. I've been a little lackadaisical in getting fresh bait inside the spin fish, and boy, as soon as I put new fresh bait in there, a squirt of bloody tuna oil paste, it folded up. So I guess I got to work a little harder. But we did get our 12 fish limit, as you probably heard in the report. I anticipate really knockdown drag out fishing for those that go to the ocean in the early morning. So the one thing we got going on with tides in the river is that it is a soft tide. I think it's only a little over a 4-foot runoff from high tide in the morning to low tide, and so you should not be finding yourself. There'll be, of course, a max ebb, a point in the ebb tide where you will be going 4.5 to 5.5 miles an hour, but I think you can, given what we've experienced the last couple of days, you should still be able to fish with confidence that you can get biters during that time. But you know, in my opinion, the softer tide exchanges offer more prolonged opportunity for slower presentations when you're trolling downstream trying to find those salmon. So spread them out, you know, keep some on the bottom. If you're fishing even as deep as 40 foot, there should be some biters on the bottom, and don't overlook the surface. So you know, we have that distinct advantage of being able to run 6 rods and covering different depths of water. Try and do that if you have the rods to do it. So stay safe. Good luck out there. We are underway. Hopefully salmon fishing is a little better today in the river than it was yesterday. Better tomorrow than it was today. It is time for me to go to bed. Peace out, people.